Pops.
Have to make up. Now we come up to the end of South Boston here. We have this large fort. This is Fort Independence. Say the word independence and the Brits always turn around and they know exactly what's coming. Yep, celebrating our independence from the evil British Empire. This is where the last British troops were stationed during the siege of Boston back in 1775. There used to be a castle out here called Castle William in 1630, so we call this Castle Island because this was once an island off the coast of Boston. So everything from that fort all the way back to the tall buildings behind us, man-made land. Absolutely extraordinary. Now, the last British troops were actually stationed here, as I mentioned, and they were kicked out of Boston in shame, humiliation, and defeat, sorry, sort of, in 1776, March 17th, from Long Wharf, where we all departed from in hopes and anticipation of a halfway decent tour. They were kicked out on what we still call today Evacuation Day. And that is still celebrated as a holiday. If you're a city employee, that is an official day off, only in Boston. If you just have a pulse, that is also a day off, however, because that's St. Patrick's Day. And nobody goes to work on St. Patrick's Day in Boston. Which is why the 18th is also a holiday, because nobody can go to work the day after St. Patrick's Day in Boston. Just can't be done. Now, before we turn, take a look off to the right, off in the distance. See those beautiful hills? Everyone in Boston calls those the Great Blue Hills. Everyone except me. I call them the only hills remaining in the greater Boston area. Again, a slightly longer name, but reminding us that we've taken all the other hills to build all the land. All right, we're turning around. We're not going to do that after all. In Boston Harbor. They make up the Boston Harbor Islands National Park. You'll be relieved to know I'm only going to talk about two of them. You are welcome. And now off to Charlestown. The perks of the job is to get to slap your name on everything in sight if you're a king. But the Charles River runs 80 miles up to the little town of Hopkinton, which of course is only 26.2 miles as the marathoner runs. But as the river meanders, 80 miles, 92 bridges, and 24 dams. Now, off to the right, we have the oldest neighborhood in the city of Boston. This is the historic North End of Boston, a decidedly Italian neighborhood. If you are looking for Italian food, walk into the North End, you will find over 100 Italian restaurants to choose from. Pick one you can't go wrong. And that's up to Outlet Alive. Figure out how to macaroon from Mike's Pastries. This is simply the best macaroon in the history of ever. And that beautiful white steeple rising above the North End is at the top the oldest church still standing in Boston, 1723. Old, it's in the North End, it's a church. Yep, the Old North Church. That's where Paul Revere had the sexton hang the two signal lamps. Then when the members, or even read Longfellow's poem, "Listen, my children, and you shall hear the midnight ride of Paul Revere." Fast forward, one of my land, two of my sea, I on the opposite shore will supposedly be. I add the supposedly because it's a lovely poem, and yep, it's historically really inaccurate. Paul Revere not waiting on the opposite shore, I'm sorry, nor did he ride out to Lexington and Concord yelling, "The British are coming! The British are coming!" That would have confused everyone. We were all British at the time, sorry to say. So we were fighting from those pesky British, fighting for our independence. So more than likely it was the redcoats or the regulars. right behind that gold dome building, the copper building. The copper building is Quincy Market, the first open-air market in the nation, but behind it, Faneuil Hall with the gold dome. Faneuil Hall, considered the cradle of liberty, as the Sons of Liberty held their secret meetings plotting the American Revolution. Today we call it the cradle of tourism. 18 million visitors a year. But now we come back full circle to Long Wharf. Here is a cool sight coming up. See the flagpole? Line up that flagpole down the middle of Long Wharf. You'll see another gold dome building, the old State House, at the other end of Long Wharf. That is how long this wharf used to be. All the way up there in the heart of Boston. Now, it doesn't look so far from out here on the water. When you get off the boat and you're standing on Long Wharf, try to remember to take a look at that building from land. It will look so much further away. And then remember everything in front of it, everything to the sides of that gold dome building, man-made land. Have I mentioned man-made land at all on this tour? I keep meaning to bring that up. I hope I've mentioned it. We built it on the original waterfront back in 1713 because the politicians of the day were also merchants. And as they passed laws, they wanted to keep an eye on their shipping interests out here on the harbor. Pass some laws, make some money. Pass some more laws, make some more money. Everything gone out there. If you look off to the port side out in the distance, you'll see that the outer harbor has now completely disappeared. The big white tank, Spectacle Island, all gone. So sorry, too bad. That's fog. Comes in pretty quick. Third tour of the day, I'm just going to make everything up because you can't see anything. That'll be fun. I've already been making everything up.